look at this idea of activism from the opposite end on how do you maybe destroy a movement that has gotten powerful or perhaps too powerful.
Okay.
One that, especially a powerful force where they're all doing synchronized movements and they're at the prime of their movement. How do you shut down not just them in the sense that you're going to evict them off of Wall Street, but also shut down their ideology, because the ideology may be fundamentally poisonous.
Wow.
Okay, you want to play the other side. How do we shut down the social movement? Okay, so, well, why don't we learn from the example of how movements have been shut down? I think that on the one hand, there's a few common techniques that are used. Number one, infiltration. Okay, so even if you go back to the Russian Revolution, Lenin's secretary was a police spy. So here's someone who's at the top echelons. Then at one point, I think out of 7 Bolshevik leaders prior to the Russian Revolution, 3 of them were spies for the government. Okay, so you infiltrate, you get people into positions of power within the movement who are able to. They sabotage the movement by calling for extreme actions that alienate the public. That's one thing that you do. So you kind of distort the meaning of the movement from within. I think the second thing that you do is that you start to identify and target the leadership who are charismatic, and then you discredit them. Like in America, we have this thing called COINTELPRO, where they would use, they would spread lies about the leaders in order to discredit them with the public. And then the third thing you do is you kind of develop a countermeasure against the specific tactics of that movement. With Occupy Wall Street, in order to evict people from the squares more easily, what they did is they first would say, okay, we're going to evict everyone in 24 hours, and then everyone would show up to try to defend the space, but then they would wait, and they would wait 48 hours until everyone got tired, and then they would evict. It was that easy. You just kind of the protesters fell for it every time, So I think on the one hand, you infiltrate, the next thing you discredit, and the third is you develop countermeasures against the tactics being used.